start this morning off, I want to share with you a few things you'll never see. There's a few things that you will never see, and I want to let you know about what they are. It's an amazing privilege to speak with you today, and we are able to do what we do because of such an incredible leader. And a lot of you may not even understand what a DYD or a district youth director does, but there's a lot of us that do. And those of you that don't, I want to tell you a few things about Drew Smithson that you will never see. Drew Smithson leads our district, and I want to tell you that he's a leader that empowers his team. He believes in his team. He doesn't hold his hand over his team. He delegates things and gives them the power to do the stuff that God has them to do. And you know, for 10 years I've been a part of this district, and I want to tell you this, there's something you may never see. But every single meeting I've ever been at with him, where we're meeting and talking about camps or conventions or anything, Drew always begins the meetings with prayer. And he doesn't just have us pray. We start every youth convention the same way, but you think it's just youth convention, but what you don't know about your DYD is that Drew leads us in prayers in meetings where there's 10 of us. We get on our knees and we ask Jesus for his help. We have a DYD that always knows that if Jesus doesn't do it, it won't work. There's something else about him you'll never see. He wrestles over and over and over again with making youth convention the most fun, amazing, touching, God-honoring, safe, spirit-filled, incredible weekend of your year, even if he knows he's going to get a few emails from a few people about the one thing they didn't like. And let me tell you why. Because Drew understands this, that the first one through the wall always gets the bloodiest. The first one into new territory always takes the first hit. The first one into battle always takes the first arrow. And we have a DYD who is not afraid of the wall of change. And he's not afraid to try something and to bust through it. And I want to let you know that he's not afraid to get bloody. And because of that, we are honored to have him as our district youth director. And those are a few things about Drew you've never seen. And I wanted you guys to I really wanted you guys to know that. And I love him dearly. Would you guys, really, give it up one time for Drew Smithson. Second thing is, and I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, but I want to let you know, if you're a youth pastor in the place, we have a school of ministry. It's called Leadership School of Southern California, and we want, amen, God bless. And we don't want to do anything except serve your vision. And so if you have a wall to paint, if you have chairs to set up, you have an outreach you need to do or a way to reach your city, we want to get behind the vision that you have. And so please come see us at our booth in the back. We want to come. We have 15 students that need to serve, need to wash feet, need to learn that ministry is not a stage. And I've told our students we'll serve our way into the stage. If that ever comes, that would be God's choice. But we want to serve all of our district here in Southern California from Leadership School of Southern California. So if that's you, youth pastor, please come see us. We'd love to come to your ministry. If you're thinking about ministry, we would love to talk to you about preparing you for what God has and developing you into the leader God has for you to be. Are you guys ready this morning to hear from God's word? How many of you, on the count of 3, I want you to think of the craziest sports fan that you know in your family, the one that just gets nuts, crazy, loses their cool, and doesn't act Christian when they're watching their favorite team. Think of that person in your family and yell their name on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Jesse!
Right? Sports has a way.
And Alex.
Has a way of bringing out the side of us that, really needs
and
Jesus.
Pastor Johnny.
And, one time, there was a moment that shaped my life, a few of them, and there are things that will shape your life. One of the moments for me was a sports moment. I wasn't very good in high school at basketball. I sat the bench. And I remember one time that the point guard got hurt, and he said, the coach looked down and said, Chris, I need you to go in. Now, I never got into the game, so I really didn't know. When he said, Harrol, go in, I thought he said, Barrel, go in. So I was like, is that a new play? I wasn't sure what it was. So I get in there, and I tell the point guard, I say, give the ball to me, I want to shoot a 3. He comes down, he doesn't do it. Next time down he comes, and he passes me the ball, and I'm standing there, and I'm looking, and I look around, and I step back behind the 3-point line, and I let it fly. And the best part about it is my entire bench, all of my coaches, I'm that player that when you get ready to shoot, everyone's like, no! That was me. I'm like, this is my moment, and I let it go. It's flying in the air. The crowd's going crazy. Oh, I forgot to tell you. You ever play sports and you got that one girl or boy in the stands that you like and you play just a little bit more intense? You know what I'm talking about. Usually you're out there defense, but watch the cutie be in the room and all of a sudden you're like, defense, ball, 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 ball. Ball, 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 ball. That was me. I was so excited. I let the thing go, and my whole stands, all of the coaches are like, no! It hits the net. Yes! The moment shaped me. I remember feeling excited about that. Another moment that shaped me is when I'm a little kid. Sports are funny. You know, when you're a little kid playing sports are not about how good you are when you're 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Sports are about one thing, and one thing only. Who's got the craziest mom in the stands?
Oh, my mom.
You know some of you right now in this room, you are known or you know the craziest mom in the stands. My mom was kind of, I don't know how else to say this, she was kind of ghetto. I would be up the plate and it'd be 2 strikes on me. My mom would start screaming. I mean, my mom was the craziest one in the stands. She'd be like, the pitcher's number was like 15. Hey, 15! 15! I got my eye on you, son. You better watch out. I know where you live, boy. Don't strike my son out. Mom! And I'll tell you this, it ain't just ghetto moms that are crazy. Some of you got blonde-haired, blue-eyed, brunette moms that will walk the sidelines yelling and screaming at the soccer ref like he owes you money. Yeah. You know your mom, she might drive a Yukon, she might have, don't let the coach purse fool you. She will yell and scream like it's no one's business. How many of you got a crazy mom out there? Let me hear you. These moments shape you. I remember another moment that shaped me was when I was getting up in the morning for my paper out. My grandpa's Bible, he was asleep and he fell asleep the night before and his Bible was across his chest. That moment shaped me. I remember my dad telling me he was proud of me. But you know what? The great moment shaped you, but the other moment shaped me too. I remember coming out of the orthodontist when I was 11 years old and walking up on the car and my mom was in there. And my mom was a drug addict, and she had foil out, and she had the drugs out, and she had the needle out, and she was getting ready to do it. And I remember coming up and surprising her, and she was embarrassed and surprised and tried to talk me out of thinking what was happening was what was happening. And I remember looking at that, and that shaped me. I remember Thanksgiving, we just celebrated Thanksgiving, but I remember Thanksgiving when I was about 14 years old, and I remember hearing loud screams in the middle of the night, and all of a sudden the door opens, and in runs my mom, and my parents are screaming, and she runs and gets in bed with me because my parents were in such a bad fight. That moment shaped me. I remember seeing things in my family that I wish I could forget, and I remember these moments that were hard and difficult, and there are so many different ones that will shape you. The things that shape us are sometimes amazing and great, and the things that shape us are really, really hard. The friend that stabs you in the back, the boy that you give your heart to that you thought it would last and he breaks your heart, and he doesn't really care, and you're the one picking up the pieces. The coach that you thought wasn't fair to you, or your parents being too hard. There's moments that will hurt you, that will shape you. And then what happens is you look at your mistakes and you start to evaluate your mistakes in your life and things that have happened to you and things that weren't fair. And here's what we begin to do. We begin to wonder, have questions about our story, what we are, who we are. I got a question for you this morning. Have you ever thought that there was a better version of your life that you were supposed to live than the one you have? You ever had that sinking feeling in your stomach when you think about the stuff that didn't go right, when you think about what didn't work out or who did this or what wasn't there for you, and you start to wonder and think, I feel like there's a better version. If this wouldn't have happened to me, I would be here. If it wasn't for this moment that really was there, then if I wasn't walking up on my mom then I would have, and if it was only for this, then my life would be so much better. And you create this ulterior story. You create this other world and just think, if only I could get into this world, everything would be happy, everything would be good, everything would be awesome, my life would be okay. I want to tell you today,